my 2020 Royal Enfield 650 Interceptor. We'll take a little ride today. It's not going to be a ride from a dealer where in 5 minutes I try to pretend that I'm an expert on the bike and tell you that you should buy it or not buy it. I actually own this bike and I haven't owned it too long, but I'm now approaching 600 miles on the bike. And I've done a few modifications, but with no further ado, let's take her out on the road for a little cruise, see how she does. So I added an aftermarket exhaust system and an aftermarket air cleaner, but it sure does have the great sound of a British bike. And I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this with the helmet on, but it's definitely pretty throaty. So we're in the heart of Nebraska. Shut the lid here. It's early October, so it's fall season. You might notice some of the trees are turning color. Winter will be upon us before you know it. Our fall season is very short here. But anyways, I must tell you I really like this bike. It's very smooth. Almost from day one I couldn't believe how smooth the transmission shifts. I've heard others say it took a few hundred miles to get that worked out, but mine has been super smooth ever since day one. It's really easy for me to find neutral on this bike, and as we know, that's not always the case with a lot of motorcycles. So I've never owned a British bike before. Had plenty of Japanese bikes, ridden plenty of American bikes, but this is my first British design bike. And yes, it's made in India, but it was British design. One of the intrigues with this bike is that you can tinker with it. You can put upgrades on it. A lot of things you can do. Makes the bike your own. I did the first service myself, adjusted the valves. Very easy. Had a lot of experience with that with Volkswagens in the old days. But it worked out real good. And the factory specs were barely noticeably different when I did do that valve adjustment. But I did make sure to put them spot on. So the bike touts a 47 horsepower and 38 foot-pounds of torque. Now you can imagine that by adding the aftermarket exhaust, by opening up the airwaves a little bit, you might get about 1 horsepower, maybe pushing 2. Haven't dynoed it, so I don't know. But with an air cleaner you might get 5 or 6 horsepower. I do notice that the bike has quite a bit better response after doing the upgrades, and I'm really happy I did it because I like the throaty sound of the motor. So this bike would not be made for the racetrack in my opinion, but it's every bit capable. I have not taken it to top speed, but I have heard that it's capable of doing just over 100 miles per hour. That can get you in big trouble anywhere here in the United States of America. I do notice that the speedometer is about 3 to 4 miles per hour off, So you have to go a little faster than what's indicated to be at the proper speed, and that's tested with GPS. So it is a Sunday, and we're out for a Sunday cruise. What could be more pleasant than cruising a bike like this on the back roads? I really have been enjoying the bike. Nothing yet that I could say that I do not like about it. Take a look here at the river. The suspension is very nice. I don't notice it lacking anything at all. The only thing I could say is that the rear brake could have more oomph to it. But the nice thing is that we do have ABS brakes on the bike, standard. I believe that they are a Bosch controller, and the front brake is very adequate. So combined with the two brakes engaged, I don't find any issues with stopping the bike. Acceleration is quite pleasant and brisk. It's a whole lot of fun. I do like the fact that it's air cooled and oil cooled. Don't have to worry about radiators and coolant per se. You do have to run a different weight oil on an air cooled bike, but all of it's part of the beauty of owning one. So let's talk about a few of the features. The mirrors are fantastic. You can see everything with them. I don't get any tons of overly shaking stuff where I can't tell what's behind me, and that's very good. It's got a lot of polished aluminum on the bike, makes the bike beautiful. I did do some upgrades with some vinyl striping, and I've added a few features like this clock here. But all in all, I think if somebody were to buy this bike as a new rider, well, hey, we got to test the brakes. Anyways, I think a new rider would thoroughly be okay on this bike. But I don't recommend anybody ride a bike unless they take a certified safety course and pass that. It's not excessively powerful, but it's powerful enough. I've been riding for about 45 years, and I don't find it lacking in the fun factor at all. In fact, the low-end torque is excellent, and when you get on that torque to use it, you get that throaty sound of the muffler. Stock pipes weren't bad, but I do like a little more growl. I could see this bike staying in my stable forever as that go-to bike when I want to cruise around and just have a very enjoyable day. I have 6 bikes in my stable right now, and I find I've been riding this one quite a bit. I realize part of that's because it's new, but it's definitely a lot of fun. So anyways, we're going to hit a main drag here. And I thank you for taking a little cruise with me. And if you got any questions, post them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them. I've done a lot of different styles of riding on this bike, so good possibility I might be able to answer those for you. So again, thank you, and we'll talk to you later.